Greetings, He fans and She ravers. My name is Robert Lamb. I was a storyboard artist and staff writer for Filmation Studios in the 1980s. I want to talk to you about He-Man and Masters of the Universe. This show turned American television animation upside down. Before He-Man, animation had been consigned to Saturday mornings. Reruns of older shows got a second life on weekday afternoons, usually on local independent stations. All that changed with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. First-run syndication was considered foolhardy because 5 times the number of shows would be needed for a season of 13 weeks, or 65 episodes. But Lou Scheimer and the Filmation bunch were just crazy enough to try it.
Mattel chose Filmation to produce He-Man because of the strength of Black Star in 1981. Lou Scheimer negotiated a good deal for the studio, stating that Filmation would not tell Mattel how to make toys, and Mattel should not tell Filmation how to tell stories. We would accommodate Mattel's wishes to include characters, props, vehicles, etc. as reasonable within any given story. When I first heard about the He-Man series, I bought a couple of the DC comic books to practice drawing the characters. Though He-Man changed only slightly in Filmation's models, Teela changed quite a bit. The toy and the comic version had a Cobra headpiece. I may be in the minority among Masters fans, but I prefer Filmation's version of Teela, which by the way was based on Princess Aura from Filmation's Flash Gordon. Some of the storyboard guys, including myself, did not like the name He-Man at first. I have to explain this to younger fans who grew up with the character and don't understand why. Before Mattel introduced the toy line, the term He-Man had taken on either a suggestive meaning, as in, hubba hubba, what a He-Man, or a negative sexist meaning, like, what a hyper-macho knuckle-dragging He-Man jerk. It was embarrassing for a while to tell friends the name of the show I worked on. After it became a big hit, the term was recast as the name of millions of kids' favorite hero, and the issue never came up again. Another thing we didn't like at first was Alan Oppenheimer's interpretation of Skeletor. Instead of a menacing Darth Vader-esque baritone, we got a nasally tenor. Over time, we adjusted and came to love Skeletor's voice. I thought he sounded a little like Dishonest John from the old Bob Clamp and Beanie and Cecil show. Yeah, I'm that old. I loved to wander around the other departments on my breaks to see how the show was shaping up. In the layout department, Lorenzo Martinez led the background design team and created wonderful environments. I managed to hang on to 2 of his conceptual layouts, Castle Grayskull interior and the Royal Palace of Eternia. I lost the Snake Mountain cutaway, which still annoys me to this day. A lot of creative thought went into the designs. Lorenzo and his artists really cared about the mythology and alien culture, and it showed in their work. Filmation had a black line style to their backgrounds that facilitated production. A black pencil cleanup of the blue pencil layout would be Xeroxed onto a cell that would lay over the painted background. This eliminated the need for the painters to noodle a lot of detail into the paintings. The background artists didn't like the ink line, but production cost won out. They got a reprieve when it came to rendering the Crystal Sea in Teela's Quest. The black line looked wrong on the crystal formations, so the top cells were removed for those backgrounds. I reused the crystal backgrounds for the Dragon's Gift, since the formations looked very much like ice to me. The characters stood out from the paintings better than the inked backgrounds. The first season of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe utilized the same storyboard sheets we had used before. 9 panels on 8.5 by 11 paper, minus the TV cutoff frame. With the complexity of an action-adventure series, the panel size made it difficult to stage some scenes. I made a larger panel template for such needs and would then reduce it and paste it onto the board. In later series, starting with She-Ra, Princess of Power, Season 2, we used larger panels on legal-sized paper that helped a great deal. Other studios used the larger format because they shipped the boards overseas for animation, and they had to include as much visual information as possible. But the first season was tough. Still, we managed to work within the constraints.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was groundbreaking in so many ways. At the time, we knew it was popular. What we didn't know was how deeply the series and the toys resonated with the children of the 80s. It came as a complete surprise to discover He fans and She ravers as adults devoted to their favorite childhood memories. It's been 40 years since the show debuted in the USA, and fans are just as passionate about the Masters of the Universe as ever. So, until next time, you have the power.